This is the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman, the podcast that deals with the early life of J.R. Hendrick in a narrated format. So let's join in on the journey. Welcome to the podcast. With me, as always, is my alter ego, JR. Howdy. This is really one of our least favorite episodes, following the acceptance weekend. Starts out good, and I think it ends out good, but I guess we'll see what happens. This episode is called Can Brad's Jealous Bone Be Cured? Okay. Now, the last episode that we had, it's Can Brad's Jealous Bone Be Cleansed? So now it's Sunday the 23rd at 1 p.m. We cut to the ranch, and Carmen pulls JR's car up to the ranch, and Thomas comes out and greets JR warmly. "Hey," Thomas said, rushing out to hug JR. "Cousin, there you are. You should have been at Medessa Baptist Church today." "Wow, what's going on?" JR asked. Tim Braswell preached a powerful sermon about water baptism. Then he baptized little Thomas. And after that ceremony, I shook his hand. And Jared's like, "Well, that's me on proper gentleman. Tell you what, I've had it up to here with, to the full with Brad's jealousy." And Thomas says, "Well, Brad needs Jim Bob or you to tell him to shut up." "You fell in love with Karen. She dumped the dummy interferes, and you lost her. Water under the bridge. I found something better suited for me." And Amy Kathleen says, "Junior, Aunt Betsy said that dinner was Popeye's Burgers at 6. JR, Popeye's Burgers, which was a recipe of ground beef along with a sauce of mayo, mustard, ketchup, onions, and pickles. In between 2 slices of bread or hamburger buns." The recipe was picked up. It was picked up by Jim's grandmother, Emma Hendrick. Okay, so now we cut to, it's 7 p.m. actually, and they're having dinner at the ranch. Kevin McDonald says, the blessing, everyone sits down to dinner. And Kevin McDonald says, "Seriously, I would not let Brad in that condo for a while. I can only handle him in small doses. And Cousin Joe says, I saw him coming out of your dorm room a couple of years ago. He had this scowl on his face. But after this little grin, because he knew he had you, JR. Dad said to give Brad a dose of his own medicine, Cousin Joe said. And Macfield said, but maybe it's time, Macfield said. I warned you, JR, not to get tangled up in the business of Brad being jealous of you. And JR's like, so what are you going to do? Call my daddy. And so Betsy stands up and speaks up, and she says, now that's enough of this talk. Yes, your daddy already knows. And you can expect a call from him tomorrow evening. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. and it's obvious, Jim is fighting mad. He's angry about what happened that previous weekend, about what transpired. But he was happy about the House vote on faith-based resources for small business. And Phil later taking over, he wasn't happy about Phil later taking over the staff meeting and running it to the ground. Okay, so now there we go. Okay? We cut to the 24th. It's 6:30 a.m. Cinnamon rolls and donuts from Southern Mills are on the breakfast table at the ranch as the family sits down for dinner. And Betsy says, well, Jim is going to see President Clinton this morning at 8. Personally, I'm ready for Jim's public service career to be brought to a close, Betsy said. And Mike Fields was like, but why? You love politics. And Betsy says, yes, I do. But I think he needs to realize now that is going to be the future for our children. And Christine's like, well, I don't want to go into politics. I'm going to go into education. And Bobby said, actually, I've been considering a career in politics, Bobby said. And Max is like, well, not me. This fall, I'm going to be studying communication studies a minoring in business management. And listen, Marie says, I agree with Betsy. Politics is in my blood. And I have this political science degree, but don't know what to do with it. And Betsy says, your dream will be realized, Elizabeth Marie. Just be patient. And Jeous says, I'm going to law school. Then maybe. I'll maybe going to be a lobbyist. And Macfield said, your daddy says your first years after law school that you have to work for him, is what Macfield said. And Elizabeth Marie says, no, that's not fair. And Betsy says, well, it might be the best choice, because, Jeous' health, it's not that good. And Kevin says, it says that Junior needs to take better care of himself. And Ken's like, yeah, I second that one. Okay, so they come to the White House, and Jim is locked down this long red room home, indoor hall of shame into the Oval Office. Jim is escorted down the long hallway that leads into the Oval Office. Waiting in the walking in, the president greets him warmly, and after offering him a drink, he begins to harangue him. A heated confrontation began between both of them, until finally they both agreed to become more collaborative, to be in a more collaborative mood. When the president said, the assignment to send Jim to New Orleans, and then a leave of absence. Jim was to be gone for 10 days. Okay, so now we cut to the ranch. It's 12:40 p.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Kevin pulls in his car into the drive. He walks into the den to find Jeous watching Starflight 4, Homecoming Voyage. I wish he hadn't purchased all that crap at an auction at the dorm, Kevin said. For Kristen, give me a break, Kevin. When my grandmother died, I was lonely, Jeous said. And Kevin said, look at the miracle. That your family hours, and to be honest with you, you're hanging out too much with Brad. And Jeous says, I know. Maybe this Wednesday, I'll go to church with Tim Newcastle. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Eastern. In his new offices at the EAA, Jim received a phone call from Carol Stringer that said that President Clinton was meeting with Phil later, pleading with him to dial back his criticism and circumventing Hendrick. Carol said that the president was angry at both of them, of which Jim replies, well, we're almost done. Jim is exhausted because early Friday morning, in the wee hours of the morning, the U.S. House passed faith-based resources for small business, 391 to 49. Five congressmen willfully abstained, including Congressman Hume and 4 Democrats. You know, I gotta say this. Congressman Bill Hume, well, he's always been shrouded in mystery. Maybe he wasn't from 94 to 96. But I think in 96, after the majority party gave him some discipline, he kind of learned to watch his tone with how things were in D.C. And I can't say so I blame him. Okay, so now it's 2 p.m. Central, Eastern, at the EAA. Jim is in his office when Senator Cordell Wheeler barges in. Kudos to you, the senator said. Look, I apologize. I will vote for your faith-based resources bill, but I want to add a few amendments. You ain't cried uncle enough, Jim said. Don't be sarcastic around me. I've had enough of that in D.C. My friend, relax. Take a break or something. For the rest of the day off. And Jim's like, well, I think I'll just do that. Walks out. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. We cut to the ranch. And after watching the movie and some early work confessions with Bobby, cousin, Elizabeth Marie, Christine, and Ken. JR is horseback riding with Dave Smith. And Dave says, you know the spring of 93, and when you and I were roommates together, I tried to warn you about Brad. Dave said, I know. I just want to hang out. I just want to hang out with him. Just this one more week. And then, when I'm in Lubbock, I'll be able to take a break. Tall tales. You keep tolerating Brad because he was helping you when your grandmother died. But notice now that you and Karen have got somebody else. He's on the jealous tick. The point, the important thing is Brad eventually vanishes into the background. I understand where you're coming from. When I was at Odessa University College in the fall of 91, I probably really did not like Brad at all. Me and Kyle did something stupid. It really made me cry. That's when Kyle stepped that's when Brad stepped in and became a friend. That's crap, JR. He pretends to look nice and act nice, and then all of a sudden, he either wants to control you or is jealous of you. You could do so much better. Talk to your Holy Spirit friends. And Jared's like, I got so much more now. I am considering being part of the Amstar business as a distributor. And Jared's like, as a consultant. Just much like when Daddy did when he was campaigning for Bush. And another thing, you and Ken doing this hero worship of your dad. I'm going to be honest with you, JR. I'd give it about 6 months and he's going to turn on you. Cool it, Dave, JR said. I ain't trying to hear that. So you see this tension, but it's kind of like a gentle, friendly tension between JR and Dave Smith. Now, it's 4 p.m. Central. Jim and his Uncle Isaac are sitting down talking in the mansion front lounge. That's Senator Wheeler. Got loose lips, Uncle Isaac said. Said I'm gone fishing. I don't want the Democrats to take his seat in 96. There's this Kristen Barton that has given the run in Willard's place. As for Clinton, I can take care of that bastard, Jim says. I spoke to this girl, Bethany Horowitz. Whitefish fillets are for dinner. Told her sauce, scalloped potatoes with 4 cheeses, French cut green beans. You have your father's taste. Just don't get close to the fire like he did. I think that's why he died of cancer. And Jim's like, I don't care how and why he died. Maybe he had his reasons for ending his marriage with Mama. But it could have been a hell of a little deal, Jim said. Speaking of which, my oldest son, he's a hell of a son and a hell of a man. So it's 5:30 p.m. at Eastern. We're back at 14 Heritage Gate, and Jim has a special dinner with Uncle Isaac and David Frankhauser, who's a Supreme Court justice. He says, I'll tell you what, it's interesting clerking for Anthony Kennedy, but sometimes he makes me so damn furious with how he plays loosely with judicial review. And Jim said, look, why don't you go down and look and speak about it at the law school there? My eldest son and second cousin are there. Jim, I'll tell you what. I first met him, I would say it would be impractical for him to be a law student. He's changed. Said DC made him study hard. Okay, so now It is 6 p.m. Central. Fried catfish, fried potatoes, and fried squash for dinner, and the family sits down for dinner. And, of course, Christine says grace. And then the discussion starts. And Bobby says, I caught 6 fish. JR caught 6 fish. Christine caught 6 fish. And Ken caught 6 fish, Betsy said. And Betsy's kind of reminding, JR, your daddy's going to be calling you around this evening. He wants you to be in the office to talk. And Joe's like, I know what he's going to say. Brad being jealous. Can't blame Dad for that. And so Christine says, Mom, Brad is being such a dork. I mean, being jealous of my brother? Come on. And Joe says, well, don't tell me none of your friends have been jealous. And Christine says, well, yeah, friend Monica from D.C., she's kind of jealous of me because of who I'm going out with. So now we cut to the ranch home office. And this is actually Jim, the father, is lovingly. Oh. I got the wrong. Let me see, I gotta find a corresponding phone that has that sound bite. If I can't find it, then I'll just go through the basic synopsis, which I hope I don't have to. I hope I can find it quickly and just move on. But I don't know. Still looking, guys. Be patient. I think I found it. Okay, be patient with me as I load this up. Okay, what do you think so far? You don't necessarily like all the conversation being about bread. Of course, that's all going to change next week. See, is I think Brad was so reactive. He just covered wherever the wind told him to go. Okay, so here we go, guys. Hey, Daddy. Boy, I've been hearing all kinds of things about you and taking Brad up to the condo for the weekend. Yeah, I don't see no problem. Boy, that's our condo. That's our family condo. And he comes in, y'all have dinner. Everything's supposed to be nice and peachy and everything. And he acts all stupid and jealous of you. I'm not going to have that, boy, okay? Don't you let him in the house. I'll do my best, Daddy. Are you listening to me, boy? I love you, okay? And I love you enough to tell you right now, I ain't going to tolerate nobody being jealous of you just because you're in love with somebody. I fell out of favor with a friend over that crap. Let me tell you something. That's why John Dustin and I are not friends anymore. Miracles why you put everything as long as you did. Your mama, that's why. Look, I'm just telling you right now, okay? Listen to me, boy. This is for your own good to listen. I love you. I don't want to see nothing bad happen to you. And I don't like your friends talking trash about you. Look, who told you all this, Daddy? How about Kevin McDonald? How about Mike Fields? You know, I'll tell you something. They love you. They care about you. You know, this is senseless. You hanging out most of the time with this idiot when you got Ken to be around. Daddy Ken's returning to Dallas on Friday. Well, you're going to be going to go see your girl anyway. And when you get back, real Kevin McDonald's going to be there. You know, go hang out with him, not Brad, not Jim Bob. This is stupid. I mean, Brad being jealous of you, that just pisses me off. I'm not going to sit there and tolerate it, okay? I got enough crap going on in D.C. as it is. You're someone that I'm very proud of, okay? Do you hear me? Yes, Daddy. Do you understand me? Yes, Daddy. I tell you what, I'm going to help you market your book, Andrew House. I spoke to him earlier today. He's going to help you market your book. But you can't be double focused by having this stupid Brad sit around and act all jealousy. I ain't going to tolerate it, boy. You hear me? Yeah, Daddy, I hear you. Good, boy. Now, you listen to me. If I could see you, I'd put my arms around you and hug you. You're my son. Nobody has the right to be jealous of you. You hear me? Sure, Daddy. I gotta go. So that's, I gotta be honest with you. I don't blame Jim on that. No. Daddy is being protective. Okay, so 5 p.m. Central. Back at the ranch, Betsy is talking to Sophie, having her make fried eggs for breakfast, along with Elizabeth Reed is making blueberry muffins. Okay, so it's 7 a.m. Central. J.R., Betsy, Christine, along with Elizabeth Marie and Bobby, they're having breakfast on the patio. And Betsy says, Elizabeth, you and I are going shopping. There's an Eastern Star meeting tonight, and I want you and Christine to be there. And Christine said, I was just wanting to watch a movie. And Betsy says, remember this young lady? Betsy said, my house, my rules. Mama, I'm going to the home group Bible study with Brad tonight. And Betsy says, remember what your daddy says. It does you no good having him with that jealousy over you. Honestly. And Bobby thought, honestly, what's up with that? That's prep school behavior. And Christine says, it's nerdy. Few of my friends act that way. And being jealous of my brother? What a dorky idea. And Betsy says, what's with your attitude this morning, Christine? I let you stay out last night and go to a cotillion with Dave, you can at least have some respect around the family. Okay, so now it's 9 p.m. Central, and JR is having he's having a Bible study with Elizabeth Marie. He figured it was time. Okay, so now with that, now my phone jumped around. It's 1 p.m. Entrepreneurial Affairs. Jim is testifying before the Senate Small Business Committee and Entrepreneurship. And he is asked by Senator Jan Myers if he'll compromise and add faith-based resources for small business to the Small Business Jobs Protection Act of 1996, of which Jim regularly agrees as long as both houses of Congress among Republicans pass it. Now, it's 3 p.m. Central. The car bearing Betsy, Christine, Elizabeth Reed told out of the driveway, and JR is playing Monopoly with his friends. Monopoly was a staple in my house. It was just all there is to it. "5 p.m. Jim is having dinner with his Uncle Isaac. And he says, well, I'm leaving for Billings tomorrow evening. But there's something I want you to know. You need to stop buying the rumors around Billings. And with your family. That your dad secretly wanted a divorce while I was in Korea." And Jim's like, "You expect me to believe that? Dad was having issues. Then he decided to re-up in the damn Navy for Korea. He walks out on the family. Now that I call a coward. And that's why I live with Aunt Esther and Uncle Jim. And as I said, and I'm telling you right now, I've seen the newspaper clippings. He's been a good father. You've been a good father and a good husband, a great businessman, a great public servant. All around, a good man." And Jim's like, "A ruthless man from hell." So he just goes on to a diatribe blaming his father. And I was like, "Who told you that?" "He promised me a car. He belched. Man had no guts." And he says, "Okay, I get it. You're hurting. You and your mom, the family, deserve a lot better." Okay, so now it's 5:30 p.m. Central. And Brad's car pulls up into the drive. Jim Bob is in the front seat, so JR gets in. He says, 6 more days, and I'm going to go see my love. And Brad says, "Haven't we heard enough of that?" And you don't like it? I can just easily get out of the car I can study the Bible with my friends here at the ranch. And Jim was like, well, come on, JR. Please don't. Now, Brad. That's very tacky. Please apologize. And Brad says, I didn't even think by it. Okay, so it's 7 p.m. Jim and Uncle Isaac are having pizza on the upstairs balcony and talking. Uncle Isaac said, how did your testimony go? Uncle Isaac said, lovely. They only asked me one question on the Democrat side. So I'm pleased with it. Look, I'll see if I can come down with you next month. After your leave of absence is over. Damn Clinton. Asking me if I'll compromise. Yeah, if the Republicans in the Senate come up with a compromise and the bill passes from both houses with Republican majority, then yeah, I'll compromise. He asked for you to be perfunctory. That can be misconstrued, Isaac said. Where'd you learn that fancy talk? And Isaac said, Bachelor's in Business Administration from the University of Akron and law degree from Columbia University. So you've been to D.C. You know how it is, and Isaac said, I listened to my parents. Stayed insulated. And while I was going to law school at Ascension Christian College, I stayed within the group. Okay, so at 7:30 p.m., the Bible study is underway, and Dr. Michelle turns the topic to jealousy. And Karen says, now I want the air cleared. Brad, why this crazy envy of Jared? And Brad's like, oh yeah, you're obsessing over your weight with Donald, and you think it's alright for Jared to be with Christian. And so JR gets up with his cell phone. I didn't come here to listen to this. JR, please, Dr. Michelle said. This has been going on for weeks. And it's going on for weeks. And it is starting to interfere with how I relate to my family. Don't worry. Carmen will pick me up and take me back home. And Karen's like, what? Are you just going to let him walk away? And Brad's like, what do you expect me to do? And Karen said, you two-faced pig! Donald might turn on me next week. And JR has his second shot of the first five. And Dr. Michelle says you can't keep holding these Bible studies if there's unity, if there's jealousy among the groups. So Brad comes out and says, "Hey, JR, look, I'm sorry. I haven't really found love since Lynette Wilson." And JR says, "Well, you left Karen." "That was before she told me that she was tired of us competing over her." And Gerald says, "I can forgive you for what happened between me and you." Meanwhile, I have my daddy on my back. So quit this. I showed the man. It said it's a night time. It's 9:30 p.m. Central. JR is on the balcony with some friends. And Betsy says, "Now don't tell me that you and Brad have never found a Bible study." And Joe's like, "Look, I'm not going to discuss anything about this." And he goes, and she says, "Betsy says, okay then." And Gerald's like, "Mama, you were right all along. I told you to stop hanging out with Brad so much. It's not just because Brad and me. It's because Brad and Karen. It's going to spoil. And you know why I've had it?" She said, "You are?" "You better be ready to handle this by force." So now we cut toward the last leg of this, and it's 1 p.m. Eastern. In New Orleans, Jim is in his penthouse suite at the Radisson Hotel. Marlena Diedrich, who's the speaker, shows up, and they start talking and have a good time. And so at 2 p.m., JR and Max arrived at the trailer that is between the ranch house and the clubhouse. And Thomas says, "Oh, you boys can hang out behind the bed." And JR, "No. You told Brad he could tomorrow. He has to be up at least until 5. And Max says, "I understand we have to take some chickens to the South 30 degrees." And Jim Love says, "Yeah, and Becky is packing, and she's going to be getting ready to go to Baton Rouge, Monday. And Jay was like, I'm excited about my trip. And Thomas was like, I bet you are. You've talked a lot about it. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. Central. As Betsy has finished shopping for clothes and packing her bags. JR is sitting in the den with Max, competing at the Nintendo games. Paradise Island is one of those games. Okay, so it's 5 p.m. And Gerald and Marlena go to this bistro and they have Italian food. And Marlena says, excuse the sleeping. Thank you for bringing me to dinner, Jim. John has been boring. Except for the conventions we had together in Georgia. Well, I have an old friend in Big Spring. What else could I do? Besides, I'm tired of making it on my own in D.C. And she says, what, Bessie's not coming around? And Bessie's like, no. Was early this month, 2 months ago. Early last month, she really likes the ranch. And she says, John has been working on his next movie, City in Atlanta. And Jim says, well, maybe then we can do something about that. Okay, so back at Thomas' trailer. JR, Thomas, Rachel, and Max are having dinner together. And Thomas says, I'm sorry that Ken is gone, bub. But look at it this way, the bright side. You get to go see your girl. I'm going with him, Max said. Against my parents' wishes. I'm expecting to go see my girl. And Brad says, and Thomas says, well, my friend Bear likes to work the ranch. He can mark it, as a substitute. And Jero says, that'll be something, Jero said. And so he says, well, you better get Aiden and stuff because, bedtime is at 9:30. So it's 9 p.m. Jero gets in the pool garden tub and goes to sleep. Now, 6:30 p.m., Brad's car pulls up in the driveway and JR gets in the car. JR, I really feel bad. For some of the way I have treated you. To ease the blow, I want to play a gospel song you might like. So he plays the gospel song, Stand and Praise the Lord, at least 2 or 3 times. And by the second or third time, Brad and Jeous are singing together. So we're thinking at this point that, well, Brad's jealous bone is cleansed. Okay, so it's 9:05 a.m. I think that last one was at 8:30, yeah. There's a church before the patriarch's sermon. He hears the First Baptist choir with Brad sing some patriotic music. Now, it's 10 a.m. In Sunday school, a missionary from Mission Odessa reports about the need for young guys to go into the inner city to preach Christ to kids that never heard Jesus, that had some tough circumstances. And who should sign up for that but Brad? I guess he's trying to show his motives as pure. Who knows? So it's 2 p.m. Jim and Marlene are in the hot tub of the ranch, and, well, they do the hanky-panky. Let's just give it at that. 3 p.m. Central. Okay, so what's going on here, and I'm just going to give a little synopsis, because my phone keeps jumping back and forth. Jim and Betsy are having an argument. Betsy don't want him to go. Gerald's like, look, I got to go. And Mike feels like, look, I chartered him a jet. I'm not going to waste any money. He needs to do this. Okay, so it's 5 p.m., and Jim is speaking at the last section of Louisiana Small Business Economy. At 6 p.m. Central, a chicken fried steak dinner and everything, and Christine says a blessing, and everybody sits down for dinner. And so Betsy says, you know, I wish you'd change your mind. Yeah, I'm worried about you going to get sick up there, and you're asking this girl to nurse you back to health. That's ungentlemanly. And Mike Fields is his patient, like, oh, come on, for Pete's sake, Betsy. His father found the doctor in Lubbock wanted a list. If we get sicker, well, do we can good to get him home. In the meantime, chill. And she says, he's just like his father. So stubborn. And he says, yeah. What about your dad? He had a bigger hand in raising Kiara. Our Jim never did. And she says, alright, look, I'm sorry, let's talk about something else. Have to go to this University College for a day of this boot camp. Okay, so there we go. And they're talking again. Miss Marie says, besides, his 2 real friends that are here are going to be going away for the week. Kevin is going to be going to Washington, D.C., and Ken has to return back to Fort Worth to do some work for his stepfather with the Dr. Pepper Company. And Christy says, it's pathetic. Oh, this is crazy. Everyone deserves a better position than to be errand boy. And Gerald's like, well, his stepfather is paying for his graduate studies, so what the hell? And Macfield says, yeah, and I hear he's cheapskate about it. You know, his first year, he going to school, you know, kids working the internet, you know. And so Jeous says, there's only one thing we're looking toward. When I get back, and that's for the interview for the local Andrew house. And Christine says, I know. I sounded jealous of. Oh, excuse me, good grief. At the time, but JR, I really do help with sales. And Kevin says, do you want him to kick up some money to you? Kevin says. And Christine's like, no. And Betsy's like, no. There's no way their father will allow that. Unless it's business. The terms regarding me and Christine. And scene. Okay. I give this 4.8 lemonades. I give this notice of a future interview and a chance for JR to go on vacation and see his girl. JR, I get it. I stand up to Brad. Which, by the way, we should give Brad the bell for his jealousy. Seriously, go hit school, buddy. But for the most part, pretty good, JR. 4.8 root beers. Root beers, and of course, a letter from Kristen and her desire to continue dating regardless. And there you go, folks. Hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like, hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network. So until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It gets a lot calmer from here.